Welcome to today's deep dive. I'm your host, and joining me is our resident expert on workplace communication.
Hi, everyone. Really glad to be here to unpack this one with you.
So to jump right in, whenever you look at an industrial turbine or like a server rack, you know its exact limits, right? You've got spec sheets, heat sensors. If it overheats, well, the system just automatically shuts it down. Machines have warning lights, but humans really don't.
Yeah, exactly. We basically have to invent our own. In high-stakes tech environments, engineers use coded language,
Yeah.
phrases like bandwidth and drawing the line.
Right?
Those act as their invisible warning lights to keep from just completely breaking down.
And understanding how these phrases actually work is sort of the ultimate shortcut to protecting your time, without sounding like a roadblock. So today we are unpacking a really fascinating presentation deck about all this. It covers phrases like on my plate and bandwidth, and I've noticed actually nobody asks, are you free anymore?
No, never.
Everyone just asks for your bandwidth. It kind of feels like we're turning ourselves into servers, right?
Yeah.
Just to justify our exhaustion.
Oh, absolutely. That shift from physical to digital is entirely intentional.
Hmm.
I mean, asking if you are free just checks if you have a blank 30 minutes on your calendar.
Right, like a scheduling thing.
Exactly. But bandwidth, that asks if you actually have the cognitive processing power left to handle a complex problem, like, say, running a gear failure analysis.
Wow. Yeah, that is a brilliant psychological trick. Saying I don't have the bandwidth, it just completely depersonalizes the rejection.
Right. It really does.
Because you aren't saying I won't help you. You're just saying, well, the system basically lacks the resources. It just completely removes the guilt from the equation.
Yeah, it's a highly elegant defense.
Yeah.
You acknowledge the request, sure, but you point to an objective structural impossibility.
Exactly. But when your bandwidth is completely tapped out and people just keep asking, you can't just keep deflecting forever. You have to build a firewall. And in engineering culture, that firewall is drawing the line.
Right. This is exactly where we shift from just managing time to actually defending non-negotiable standards.
Wait, though. In modern agile teams, we are constantly told to be collaborative, right? Cross-functional. If I tell my project manager I'm drawing the line, don't I just look like a stubborn bottleneck?
Well, I mean, it can definitely feel that way at first, but the alternative is far worse. The source material uses this great example of reducing the quality of bearings just to save costs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so drawing the line there isn't being uncooperative.
It's a safety issue.
Exactly. It's a vital defense of safety. If you don't build that firewall, standards slip, and the workload just compounds on everyone.
And if those boundaries fail entirely, you get total system failure. Burnout. The deck literally warns about engineering teams working 80-hour weeks until they just hit a wall.
Yeah, and burnout in this context isn't just, needing a weekend to sleep. It is a total motivational and physical collapse. I mean, it's the engine literally seizing up because the warning lights were completely ignored.
So to prevent that massive macro-level systemic failure, teams have to build in what the deck calls micro-recoveries. Which brings us to the phrase, take a breather. Now, a breather in these environments isn't just, grabbing a coffee or catching up on emails, is it?
No, not at all. It's a mandatory cognitive reset.
Yeah.
You're essentially clearing the RAM so you don't make a catastrophic error on the next task.
Right, that makes sense.
And the strategy here heavily relies on brevity. It is strictly under 15 minutes. So after an intense sprint, say you're reviewing complex CAD drawings, you intentionally step away from the monitors to just oxygenate the brain.
So you're basically artificially inducing a cooldown period so the human turbine doesn't overheat.
Precisely. It allows you to navigate the red line without actually crossing it.
That is so interesting. Mastering this vocabulary, defending your bandwidth, drawing the line on standards, and forcing those micro breathers. It gives you this tactical toolkit to really manage your professional boundaries.
It's honestly essential for survival in tech.
Definitely. But here is something for you to think about as we wrap up. We just spent this entire deep dive talking about how effective it is to use machine metaphors for our brains. If we constantly describe our energy in terms of bandwidth and processing power, does that trick us into forgetting we're actually flesh and blood humans? Machines can run 24/7 with the right maintenance, but we can't. Keep an eye on your own warning lights.